Alright, let's take a look at an application question. So a skydiver jumps out of a plane that is flying 2,500 meters above the ground. The skydiver's height above the ground in meters after t seconds is h of t is equal to 2,500 minus 4.9 t squared. Let's first find or determine the rate of change of height after 5 seconds. Okay, so if you want to determine the rate of change of height after 5 seconds, we're basically finding the instantaneous rate of change at 5 seconds. So your function here, h of t is equal to 2,500 minus 4.9 t squared. Okay, so h prime of t, which is the instantaneous rate of change of the skydiver's height per unit time, is basically the derivative with respect to dt, 2,500 minus derivative of 4.9 t squared, which this is a constant, right? The derivative of a constant 0, minus 9.8 t. Okay, this is h prime of t. Okay, and we want to determine the rate of change of height after 5 seconds. So we're doing h prime of 5, which is negative 9.8 times 5, which is basically negative 49 meters. Okay, so you basically fallen 49 meters after 5 seconds. Alright, so this is how much distance you've covered in 5 seconds. Okay, from where you initially started. Now, let's take a look at part B. The skydiver's parachute opens 1,000 meters above ground. When does this happen? Right? So if it opens 1,000 meters above ground, right, we want to figure out at what height does this happen. Okay, so I'm going to let h of t equal 1,000. Okay, so at the height of 1,000 meters, let's figure out the time. So I'm going to plug this into your original equation. So 2,500 minus 4.9 t squared is equal to 1,000. Okay, I'm going to move the 2,500 to the other side. Negative 4.9 t squared is equal to 1,000 minus 2,500, which is negative 4.9 t squared is equal to negative 1,500, right? I divide this by negative 4.9 to basically isolate for t. So I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. Cancels out. T squared is equal to 306.12. Okay, if I want to solve for t, I'm going to do the square root of both sides, and t is equal to approximately 17.496. Okay, so this is approximately, if I round this off, it's about 17.5 seconds. So in 17.5 seconds, the diver's parachute should open up. Okay, so what is the rate of change at this time? So the rate of change at this time, so going back to part A, where we actually found our rate of change function, h prime of t is equal to negative 9.8 t. Then we're going to plug in h prime of 17.5, and that's negative 9.8 times 17.5, and that's going to give us negative 171.5 meters, right? So the rate of change is negative 171.5 meters, right? So this is how much you've already kind of changed from the initial point.